Hey, it's me, MLB, Chapter 60 of Rapid Fate Online. This one is titled Enter the Cave. I'm going to give you one more chance to answer my question, Kirito said coolly to the red-eyed Zaza as he called forth his second sword, taking it in his left hand. Ha! A threat. Come and meet your death, black swordsman. Red-eyed Zaza sneered as he lunged forwards. They engaged in a heated battle, as you and the rest of your raid party watched on. Is Kirito going to be okay? You asked, looking back at Asuna, who seemed quite calm despite the fierce battle raging in front of you all. Kirito obtained God level after defeating level 100 boss in a different game that was siphoning Seo bosses. When his eyes glow golden, you'll know he's surpassed the system, and that's when he's dead serious. Surpass the system? You asked, confused. What does that mean? Kirito has the willpower to override the VR world, Asuna said. You'll have to read about it in the book Seo Survivors that came out last year. They interviewed Kirito a lot for that book. You shrugged and nodded. Fair enough. Guess I'd better get this book then. Sounds interesting. Just then you heard a victory cry and looked back at the fighting scene. Butterfly had single-handedly taken out the remaining 6 members of the Tormentors and was making his way over to Kirito and the Tormentors' leader. Shall we end it here, Zaza? Or would you like to duel 2-on-1? Kirito said with a smirk. You don't play by the rules, so why should we? You have more integrity than I, Kirito, Zaza replied. You couldn't manage foul play, even if you tried. You forget, Zaza, I killed in Seo as well. This has nothing to do with integrity. You're making me and my friends late to a boss fight, Kirito said, swinging his arms back, his hand gripping the hilt of his sword, ready for the attack. Move now, or I'll make you. Butterfly imitated Kirito's stance, and Zaza froze momentarily. Let this be a warning. You haven't seen the end of me, he said lowly as he backed away and disappeared into the cave. Both Kirito and Butterfly stayed ready to attack for a bit, until they were sure that red-eyed Zaza wasn't going to launch some kind of sneak attack on them. Then, when they were sure it was safe, they both sheathed their weapons again and turned back to you and the rest of the raid party. Whoa! That was a bit of a speed bump, hey? Megata said with a nervous chuckle. Were they supposed to be there? Not sure, Kirito replied. But Butterfly and I felt like something was off just before they appeared, so that must have been it. Well done, you whispered as you sidled up to your husband. You sure showed them. Yes, thank you, Butterfly, for kicking their asses for me and my fox. It was a pleasure to watch you hand their asses to them, your bestie said. Well, shall we head forward now? Kirito asked, taking Asuna's hand. Sure, she replied happily. You reached out and took Butterfly's hand and looked back at the only two who were not holding hands at that point. Well, you said to Sexy Schoolgirl 69, motioning for her to take Megata's hand. We're going in teams of 2, looks like it, so best get into a team of 2. Well, you heard her, Megata said, in a slightly embarrassed, quivering voice. Better hold hands. Okay, because we have to be in teams, yeah? Your bestie replied him as she looked away, her fingers brushing his palm as she slid her hands against his. Yeah, he stammered back. The two of them were now shy as heck as they held hands and followed you and Butterfly towards the cave, with Kirito and Asuna leading the way. You did that on purpose, Butterfly whispered to you, and you giggled. I'm just playing a game called Ship It and Set It Sail Immediately, you whispered back with a smirk. I've never heard of that game before, Butterfly replied, and you giggled. It's a game I made up, and it's so much fun. At that point, all 6 of you entered the cave, with Fox by Sexy Schoolgirl 69's side. It was pitch black inside, and everyone stopped to let their eyes adjust. Do we keep going? You asked, Kirito and Asuna, who you could just make out ahead. I assume so, Kirito replied. Megata, do you have a light spell you can cast? Oh, yeah, I do. Sorry, Megata called from the back. Poor Sunshine is all flustered, holding his crush's hand, and he can't focus on anything else. You cackled internally. Do you need both hands for the spell? You heard your bestie ask Megata. Yeah, but I'll hold your hand straight away again when I finish, you heard him reply, and you stifled a giggle. Oh man, these two are so cute. Suddenly a ball of light floated ahead of you and settled up in front of Kirito and Asuna, and you glanced back to the two at the back as they were just resuming holding hands again. You smiled and looked up front again, and Kirito and Asuna had started to walk, so the lot of you commenced moving forwards again. Slowly you picked your way along the path as it got narrower and narrower. Is it just going to keep getting smaller and smaller and stop somewhere? You asked Butterfly, who was still holding your hand. No, it should open up soon, he replied, giving your hand a squeeze. A little further on, Kirito and Asuna stopped to wait for everyone to catch up. Everyone ready? Kirito asked, pointing to a smaller mouth in the cave to pass through. I have a feeling the dragon is just through there. Magata quickly buffed everyone again, and Kirito stepped through the narrow cave opening, the ball of light floating just ahead of him. As you entered behind Butterfly, you saw shimmers of light, and your eyes scanned the cave to find out where it was coming from. Ahead, at the back of the now large domed cave, you saw a massive pile of gems, gold, precious stones, and other beautiful golden ornaments. You gasped, "Whoa, loot!" Then your eyes saw a rather large beast sleeping atop the pile of treasure, and your heart sank. Is that the dragon? You whispered to Butterfly. Yes, he replied. Just then it awoke and raised its head to look at you all, its tail flicking swiftly in an unsettled manner. 5 health bars popped up above its head as it stood up and shot a ream of fire from its throat up into the roof of the cave. It is unwise of you to have come here, it rumbled out in a menacing voice. Wait, it talks? You hissed as you stepped in behind Butterfly. I wasn't expecting a sentient dragon, Butterfly replied, but I guess that's a minor detail. And there ends chapter 60. Stay tuned for chapter 61 coming tomorrow.